Hello everybody, how are you doing today? Been a long time since the last public live stream, not so long for the crew. Who's here? First to fire. You're the first again. MP, Kalis, good to see you. You want to learn a bit of Elliott Wave? I don't know if it's astrology, but it surely seems a bit magical sometimes. And we'll see if we can find the bottom of this bear market this time. I guess we'll see in a few. Let me maybe put a bit of music, a more peaceful music than the intro here. Can you hear me good? Music as well. Good. Can I get the chat on the left? That will be more easy for me. Here we go. Perfect. Sounds good. Hello, testy. 18 people in, good. I forget to tweet that I was going live. There we go. I'm not so good in the social media. So before we start, just so that Luke started a discount if you want to come into the crew of Taros for a very short time. You can have a nice discount on this. And now that everybody is in, we can start to look at the chart. Maybe. Okay, we'll just going to talk quickly on the low time frame because we might be on a critical place right now. I think it's possible that we. Yeah, of course, we took the low that we made, that was yesterday or 2 days ago. So swing fair pattern. It seems that we have complete 5 waves potentially. It's 5-minute count. So in 5 minutes the count is, as I say often, it's prone to fail. It could continue down more. I'm going to zoom out after. Overall, I'm looking for more downside, but as we potentially have 5 waves down here, we could see a nice bounce to the POC or even here before continuing down. Could I see just a slight low maybe? But if that doesn't work, then I could see much further downside. We didn't quite reach the liquidation. The proposed liquidation level here, and we didn't trap so much trader down here. So yeah, I'm not so sure, but I long here the swing for a pattern. I'm short from this morning and from the top as well, but here I'm long. Hello Jenny, Queenie. Hey Daita. Long time no see. Thanks. So high time frame. Nothing changed. obviously truthful for the bull, looking to 200k, but I'm I don't want to say I'm convinced of anything, but I truly believe that we didn't find our low yet. But I'm confident that we will find our low between the 30 and 20k. This is a wide range, but between the two lines here, this is Anchor Revap on aggregated spot exchange from TradingView, index from TradingView. And so we have the average buy from the two lows here. So it is important and good support, and we are at the lower band of this logarithmic curve, knowing that we have a bit more room if we want to below this. But yeah, anyway, nothing changed, and we did already tested minimum target for wave 4. That's for sure. Now I got a preferred target here that I'm looking at, which is this one, the 382 retrace from wave 2, so 2 from proposed 3. I'm taking the top of 3 here, firstly because it gives me confidence here. And I have a count here with an ABC flat like this. We could pull it a bit higher. Overall, this is an area, so it doesn't mean much, but it gives me a more precise confidence with my other fib level here, which is the minus 61.8, which is the target of this algorithm. An algorithm that is well known in every market. After a retrace to the 50 or the golden pocket, it targets the minus 23.6 and the 0.618. So we reached first target, and I got my second target here. And as I'm looking at currently at the market, for me, if you follow me for not so long, you may not be aware, but the price action that we are getting here is absolutely no surprise. I've been talking about the potential of a flat when we were up here, or at least a good correction to the 30k, and when we reach this level, I say, okay, maybe we could do a running flat. That's what Bitcoin do a lot. So I was looking to take the high here and maybe find support here before continuing. That was what I was looking at last year. When we reached this level, I was convinced that we didn't find a low because I didn't have the data confirming me this. Now I'm starting to see what I want to see for bottom formation, but not quite fully yet. I want to see a bit more desperation and capitulation. That's what we want in market. The market tend to, especially volatile market like Bitcoin, tend to go to the both extreme of market participant sentiments. Extreme greed at the top and extreme fear at the bottom. Here we're into fear, but not extreme fear yet. I think that as we are into a wave 4, probably, potentially, I'm not necessarily expecting as much despair as we saw at the bottom of a full retrace here. But still, a bit more inside. And I was talking about that to the crew in the last few stream. So I was taking these on-chain indicators from wellmap.io. What happened to... Okay, volume is good. Good to see you. Hi Delirium. Hello Sputnik, good. Okay, so I was looking at this on-chain data, especially what's realized price. So that's a bit similar to VWAP, the anchor VWAP I showed you. Bit similar. It's different. It's based, of course, on-chain. When are Bitcoin being moved, and the average price at which they have been moved, and so if we zoom out enough. By the way, it is free at the moment on Map.io. It's nice, so don't hesitate to check it out. I have a referral link, but anyway, it's free. So you see how Bitcoin tend to bottom below this realized prices at the end of the bear market each time, and we are really approaching it, but we didn't quite test it yet. Didn't went below yet. So when it go below, it means that there is more people moving Bitcoin at a loss than a profit. Knowing that, saying this at a loss or a profit, it is based on when the coin are moving out and in each wallet and the price of Bitcoin in the market at this moment. But it doesn't mean that they are being sold. But if we do the average, usually it means they are being sold at this moment and buy by somebody else, of course. So we have this, and the other one that was really relevant. Yes, it's more precisely what I was talking about. Shows the market participants are moving BTC to take a loss or book a profit. Below 1, it means that mostly being moved at a loss. So if we take a 3-day average, and just for the holders, so the one that doesn't move Bitcoin often, then buy, fill a wallet, and don't touch it until they are really afraid it's finished, it's done. And so again, when it's going below 0, so at the end of the day, that's kind of the similar data that the realized price, but on another view. You can see when we go below realized price, so per go below 1, and usually in the bottoming area. That means capitulation, and we just at this level right now. We did go a bit below, but not quite a lot. And as I was saying, this is an internal wave. So when we see this bottoming pattern that happened in 2015-14, it went really a long time below 1. A lot of people sold at a loss here during a long time, and at the end of this bear market as well. In fact, it started at 6k. There was people selling at a loss at 6k. But in the internal wave, proposed wave 2 here on my count, it went below it, but for a lot shorter time. So again, yeah, I would like to see it a bit more, but not necessarily as long as we saw in 2018 and 14, 15. And yeah, even here. So that, yeah, two main data that look quite obvious to me right now. There is other things, obviously, but I find them quite clear. And I think it's a good time to remember that now that I've been looking, we have been looking for downtrend, now we can start to really look for a reversal. And we need to be prepared for that, especially you didn't went through a lot of cycle yet, because the sentiment where we bottom can be really tough if you go on, especially if you go on Twitter and stuff like this. Can be really stressful, even just without looking at social media. If you just look at news, you can start to think, yeah, crypto is dead, or I don't know. Like, I don't know, like this week we saw something like Coinbase that is slowing down its resigned job offer and enact higher increase, because the market is not looking good. And you will see that and you say, okay, even if one of the biggest spot market is seeing the winter lasting, maybe there is something wrong. And a lot of little news like this go into your mind and can make you fearful and think maybe we're going back down to, I don't know, 10k or 3k. And that's how they can find enough liquidity to fill their big positions, the one they're trying to. There's a lot of crowd manipulation involved. Sometimes it is made in purpose, sometimes just not. Sometimes there is truly crypto companies that just capitulate. And yeah, we want also to see this, the not useful coins that just that are just hyped on purely nothing. It's good to see them go bankrupt at this time. Tasty. Frozen jobs in crypto is bullish because during November, December, there were so many new job opportunities were popping up in crypto, and we went down heavily. Yeah, exactly. It also says that some crypto firm are just not really, not making good plans on the long term. They see the business going very well when there is hype. There are a lot of people, they spend a lot of money on even like crypto.com, for example, that spend billions and billions on advertising and sponsorships and stuff like this. And then a few months later, when things are not looking good, they have to make a few steps back. And that's how it is. Anyway, I'm gonna repeat again the same count. Nothing's really changed in the last few streams on the high time frame. I got two main counts, 2 or 3 main scenarios on each time frame, I'll say. Maybe I will talk about the possibility of further downside, because even if we are looking for bottom here, well, it's always good to know when we are wrong. So it is not impossible that I am wrong and we are indeed going to crash way further down. So how this would happen. And what is the lower target? This one? Which one are you talking, and zoom right? I just have the red line here. It's the top of proposed wave 1. This count, because wave 4 should not overlap wave 1, so it should not go below this. In fact, 50% is, it's still a retrace to the 50%. It's still a good candidate for wave 4, by the way. I don't believe we will go that low, but yeah. And the green box, so I told at the beginning, it is the confluence of the 382 retrace of the proposed wave 3 here. This is where I pulled my fib level. And 3-2, it's a good candidate for a retrace for a wave 4. 0.060 minus 0.618, it's the algo target of a fib pulled from the top to here, that retraced to the 50%. And there is algo that trades like this. The buy either the 50% or the golden pocket on both sides, on every time frame, every market, and sell the, or buy back here the short on the 236 and 618. They're both target of the algo. So I have a confidence here with the 382 and potentially a slight front run of the 20k. I say potentially front run because on capitulation here I'm showing Bybit. Price will be slightly different depending on the exchange, on the pair, on the is it spot, derivative, USD, USDT, etc. And the bottom will be different as well because derivatives tend to go a bit lower due to liquidation, etc. But overall, it is, yeah, the general target. I'm trying to just force it. It is bold guess, if you want, a crystal ball guess. But I like this idea. And hikes. If we look so at my two main counts, let's start with that one. So here for the corrective wave 4, we have a potential ending diagonal here. At one of the accounts that look pretty good. So with most likely wave 3 that is finished here at the low at 25,200. Potentially, if we were to just make a slightly lower low, it could be that wave 3 was not really done yet. An alternative. We'll talk about this on the low mid-time frame count. But yeah, this is a potential count. And you see here kind of confluence during the summer potentially. It can look good. Knowing that, oops, sorry. I'm showing this count and these predictions while keeping in mind that bottom are not easy to find precisely. I mean, after we made the fifth wave, kind of a bottoming structure that is more easy to read before it really starts to go up again. But like catching the absolute low is extremely difficult, and the count can become unclear and unlikely that it will develop exactly clearly like this. So here I'm suggesting that wave 4 is not done yet. Why? Simply because we didn't overlap wave 1, and wave 4 in an ending diagonal need to overlap wave 1. And so yeah, and it is. So I'm suggesting here that clearly we have an ABC move that seems to be finished here. And this ABC move could be just a wave X. We could be going for wave W, X, and go for a Y still. Alternatively, so this count, so two main count on this time frame, knowing that this main count, this scenario may have a few variants, as wave 3 might be coming a bit lower still. Alternatively, we got not this one, this one, WXY. So the difference is, instead of looking for an ending diagonal for the move down here from 69k top, we are looking at an ABC. There can be several variants, but I went for this one, which looked good to me. ABC. So here we are looking at, we want to find 5 waves to finish this move. This move from March top at 40, what it was, 47, 48. Here I need to be able to count 5 waves. And yeah, confluence of target, here's a 1-1 extension, so it's a 1-1 extension for the ABC, classic zigzag, and 127.2 fib level for this move, yeah, WXY. Again, it can be more or less here. An ABC can go as low as 161.8 here, so you see there's nothing really forbidding that we can go lower. We could also find confluence here. Just find the 1-1 extension aligning with this field level. So this is a confluence I chose. Now, lower time frame. So for this last scenario that I'm talking about, we're looking for 5 waves here. We have potential for this. This right? Yes. So it's far from being confirmed yet. It will only, yeah, this idea will gain more sorry, doesn't find out. It will become really sensible, relevant if we lose this low at 25k. If we do continue this move down here, and if we do print 5 waves like this and find support just below that low, this count will become really sensible. And so yes, and simply it says that we are still into this larger wave 3, and internally we have a leading diagonal here, 2, 3, and we made a internal wave 4. So it seems it looked pretty long in time compared to the rest of the wave of the same degree here. We are at the edge of this being too long for being the same degree, but if I take the length of wave 1 here with the fib time tool, you can see we made twice the time of wave 1 for this wave 4. If I take the length of wave 3, yeah, more than twice, 261.8 maybe. So usually for me, for a wave to consider a wave of being of the same degree, because you see here we can see inside degree of the higher degree, right? For me to be considered the same degree, I'd like it to be not more than twice the length of the wave inside here. So I took the longest one, and here wave 4 is just twice the time. If this continue somehow, for example, if we find support here above the 25k and go again for the high, then I will say no, this is not the count. I cannot make the wave 4 go again. Yeah. Alternatively, yeah, we have this count that's saying the larger wave 3 is was finished at 25k, and we are already on the larger wave 4. So this one could be done, or like what I show on the ending diagonal, it could just continue to be a larger corrective structure. and stay in the range like this. Noting that there is an ABC count and a 1, 2, 3. As always, there are alternatives. This is mainly for the ending diagonal. That's what I was talking about, like saying that not too much, yeah, going to be okay. That the wave 3 could be finished or have another move down. It's because ending diagonal have the particularity of actionary wave can be subdivided in 5 or zigzag, in 5 waves or zigzag. And here, this move of the first wave can be subdivided in an ABC zigzag or in 5 waves. How was it already? I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the same way this wave 3 can be subdivided 2 different ways. That's why I have this alternative. This could be the bottom of the wave 3. If this is an ABC, it could be the bottom of the wave 3 of the ending diagonal. And here we are just doing a fifth here. Then the wave 3 could be finishing here. I hope this is clear. And so yeah, for now that's where we are. I think I covered most of it. Now, how could this play if we continue more down, more aggressively? I would guess that I mean, if we're really looking to break 20k and go much more down, I would still focus on this part here, one of these counts. And when at some point we'll have finished 5 waves, then we still have a good potential for a bounce. Do we find resistance on the weekly, or do we do more tricky movement? If we start to rise on low volume, no impulsiveness, and still a big wallet decreasing, no sign of accumulation, that could be happening. And then in that case, I would see this as a 1, 2, and we continue down, something. So that's why, as well, we always keep alternative in mind. Usually we find confluence. We know there's high chances that when we break, most likely when we break that low, we will find support and have a bounce. Will it be the bottom and we are starting really the uptrend? Or is it just a corrective move that say, yeah, going back down? We don't know for sure before it happens. So that's why we will take profit at some point. And that's why we play the range, and we always take profit when we have confidence for a bear and a bull scenario that say, okay, here's a good buy because there's at least a bounce if it's not a reversal. And then depending of what happened, okay, maybe I take more or less profit. I take always a bit of profit, because if I'm wrong, then I took profit, and when I'm getting stopped out, I go out with profit. And yeah, that's it. That's how you build a stack, because you got to go with the idea you are wrong in your trade, at least on the big picture. On the smaller time frame, I try to be more right than wrong. Of course, we always try to be more right than wrong, but we always have to keep this in mind. And that way, when you stuck into volatile range like this, you take profit 10 times instead of, I don't know, getting trapped because you buy a breakout and you try to hold for this and you get stopped out or liquidate, and you can get liquidate 10 times. Instead, we you play the range, you buy support, you buy swing fair pattern, and you sell resistance. And if it the same way here, I mean, when we broke this, it was a good idea to sell after we broke these highs, take profit, but there is sign that we have high chances of going higher, so I will take just slight profit and let it run, simply. But in the meantime, I may have to profit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, instead of getting stopped out 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Breaking 20k makes you stressful. Obviously, I'm saying this just, I don't want to be to bring fear. I've been pretty clear that I believe we will not break 20k. Or my worst case scenario that I truly believe will be to find support in this cluster around 17k. I would consider a wave 4 still down to the 50%, but if we reach the 50%, I will not be confident at all about it. But you see here, if I take my fib from here to here, I got the 161.8 aligning with the 50%. So this could still be potentially an ABC. Compared to this, and I don't know what it would be. I don't know. I mean, we could have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here finished. It's not impossible. We may have accounts that we don't see here, but let's say that this was a flat and the real beginning of wave 1 was here. For me, it's pretty clear that this is impulsive, so I'm not really supporting this idea. But if that's the case, we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yeah, if we are starting to go below this level, then it is a 1, 2, 3 most likely. And then still mean 4 and 5 potentially, and in that case we have only the first wave of a correction. That you can find support around 9k, which is a POC of all this range that we don't see here in the chart. But there is a POC, strong support on 9k. Again, I don't believe that this is what will happen, but it is not impossible. And in fact, it is good to have this scenario not only to be prepared in case it happens, in case things do not go as a way we plan to. You are not surprised, you understand what happened, but also because we want to see this kind of scenarios being spread on social media. We want to see into capitulation, we want to see people starting to believe this is what will happen. Is it a good idea to short spot now? So non-financial advice, but I will say no. For me, spot everything between 30 and 20k is a good buy on a long term, meaning spot long term on a multi-years time frame. And because you need to be able to hit a drawdown of still 30% potentially, and even more maybe. But yeah. But for me, this is a really good, we are into the good accumulation opportunity. So I would not suggest to sell spot. Because I didn't show this count again, because I'm telling you, I show you a few data, but there is more stuff that I go in my mind. I'm not going to talk about everything, and there is a feeling that I have because I've been following Bitcoin market for almost 10 years now. Not quite, but almost. So I'm not feeling this is done, but we have potentially accounts that say it is finished here. And if we start to really reclaim the weekly here, and we have an impulsive move here, then this becomes just a deviation, it becomes a spring, and then we will start to go really heavy, and you don't want to be catched into this, and we don't sell the bottom. I mean, it's really depends on what you mean when you say spot, but for me spot is long-term investment, some money that really I don't need. Now if you just trade on spot, I mean, even here I wouldn't sell here. I've been selling weekly, I've been selling this retest, but now here I potentially still 5 and we could go here. And I could be wrong, maybe we have a, so here W, here an X, and here this is an A, B, C maybe. It look like impulsive down to me clearly. But I don't, yeah. Be too late to sell this for me, in my opinion. Vegeta 9k. But I think Paolo is referring to Vegeta to 30k now and not 9k. Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't really follow that. You know, I'm looking at what Paolo say a lot. So Paolo from Bitfinex, Tether. Because sometimes he really give insight of what he's doing. And maybe sometimes what we do is just overthinking. But clearly, I retweeted a few tweets of it himself. Where it is? I can't find them anymore. Did he delete it then? Anyway, it 10 to 1. Yeah, here it is. Before a big dump. And sometimes with cryptic messages on May 3rd here. No actuality, fine. Yeah, is it winter on May 3rd? Someone asking if it really to wither or no. And yeah, he's confirming no, actually fine weather, but some bears also. 2 keywords, winter and bears, that have been tweet on May 3rd. May 3rd was when yeah. So before we lose our, we go into the big flush. But sometimes it's maybe just overthinking. I don't know. Yeah, so he tweeted about Vegeta, I pronounced it in English. I don't know. Maybe. I'm not reading it. Average spot at 32k, but I don't know if I just short on Bybit 1x, even, yeah, kind of low now. Well, the 1x short is might be a good solution in the sense that spot selling, but again, it's better when you are close to invalidation, because really here on my account, so for me here, main bias is that we completed a corrective ABC here. And now that we have made an impulse, so either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 internally, or maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But for example, if that's the one, if we just printed a fifth here, it means that we could go for wave 2, because this becomes just the first impulse, 5 waves, either as a wave A, either as a wave 1. Wave A, if we are in a larger corrective, which means W and A, B, C on X and Z. Either wave 1 if this is the top of the wave 4, and we are going for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And knowing that it could go much lower. Don't know for sure. It is potentially what would happen. And so here, the invalidation for wave 2 is only the top, so it's 10%. Or potentially 4%. Because for me, it seems that we have a complete here, so we have a 1, 2 finished already, and we are already going for the 3. We could consider this already as a nice invalidation. But you have to do what risk management allow your risk management allow you to do. It can be painful if you don't have anything left to buy, if you don't have short position. So I can take decision. I cannot take decisions for you. But for me, most likely, yeah, we have what I see. I'm seeing a 1 on A here and B or 2 here, and I think we already started something more. So maybe, as I said earlier at the beginning, maybe it looked like we completed 5 waves today. So I'm looking maybe for a bounce before continuing down. So then I will maybe give a short idea if that play out. And yeah, we'll zoom in to see about that. Do I talk about Wyckoff? I'm not sure there's much to say on this. I mean, Wyckoff, we have clearly our selling climax here and preliminary supply here. Automatic correction, UT. So depending how we look at this as accumulation or distribution, knowing that this is a view on a 1 hour time frame. On the bigger time frame, I'm still seeing this as a selling climax, but the uptrust becomes the automatic correction. You got overlapping ideas. You see here, I got my selling climax as well, but all this right for me is the automatic correction. Anyway, it would be quite the same. So here, show of weakness because we made a lower low. At the same time, it is kind of a spring of this range here. So just secondary tests. I know that to say here we're really stuck between this these two trend lines, which in what could be considered, if not feeling the bullish scenario, but you know, when we retest a trend line like this, we could say we are into back up at the edge of the creek. At the same time, I retest here LPSY. Because we lost this trend and we retest it, we lost this trend. We retest it as resistance, and we claim this trend, and we retest it as support. So for now, we are still kind of in between where we could say we could continue if this is a show of strength. Well, it doesn't give me much more clues, just these two trend lines that I find interesting. So if we can if we continue down a bit more, and especially if we take that low, kind of confirming the bearishness of the structure. Again, doesn't mean we can go into this and go into a uptrust after distribution and go back down, but yeah. Joni, hi, you're late. So asking if AW saying we are at the bottom or looking for more down. My personal Elliott Wave scenario is saying that we are looking for more down on the mid-high time frame, looking for this mid-time frame. I'm looking at least for this. Potentially scenarios that do that, or one that go directly for low. And short term, as I was saying at the beginning, we have a much more clear Wyckoff structure that I will talk about, by the way, that had me into the shorts here this morning. But potentially, so 5 minutes count, it's really prone to invalidation, but been pretty good to it recently, so let's keep on it. Potentially, we have 5 waves down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So which means we have a full impulse. If we zoom out a bit, we have again at least 2 scenarios. One that say we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 finished, which means a 1 on A. Again, you know, depending if we're going to break 25k or if we're going to break this high. And this corrective move pretty clear for a case. We have a leading and ending diagonal are pretty clear. Not clear, but happened to me. Kind of used to this kind of price action. And so here, most likely, we are looking at the wave 1 of 3 or C, which means could potentially looking at a bigger corrective move here before continuing down. And that here I'm talking about wave 1 finished here. The correction that occurred, yes, okay. Don't see the price action here. The correction that occurred here during that move from June 1st to this morning, yesterday, it could be a wave 4 in the sense that we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So why am I saying this? Because if this is a 5th, then we are not looking at a 1, 2, but we are looking at a 1 and then potentially a 2 that come way more up before continuing down. There is quite some volume here that are being absorbed in a sense. So pushing. I'm more leaning to the bearish side, especially because here you can see the high volume that we have is starting really at the beginning of the downtrend. We had a really strong reaction from. We didn't find any support on the POC, naked POC here from this consolidation. So we didn't find any support at 30,600. We went, we blast through it, and we retested as resistance from its really nice bearish retest. So that's why I'm considering more continuation now. And usually when we are in a bearish trap like we had up here around 32k, when we are going heavily down, usually the retrace are quite shallow. You know, the basis of Elliott Wave theory is that your wave 2 retrace to the golden pocket of the 50%, and then wave 3 to the 161.8 or 261.8, 4 and 5. But usually when Bitcoin goes into a reversal, yeah, I see wave 2 retrace to only 382 or 50%. So it's to not let people get into the new trend up or down easily. Because here, if you want to go short here, easily, your invalidation is up here. So you have to be able to trade lower time frame to catch this. Possible to be more precise, obviously, but somebody that will look just at the daily chart or 12-hour chart will say, okay, my 1-2 and my validation is up here, so I want to get the golden pocket or something. Anyway, when there is supply or demand, bids and asks tend to chase itself. If there is a lot of sellers, they will tend to lower their asks, front run the other ones. So that's why we get more shallow retrace in a reversal. Yeah, interestingly, what we had in this top range here. So I was looking at this red box that was quite wide between the 382 and the 50% retrace, and we had the 4-hour pivot here level that was from the previous range, quite key, and the naked POC here, well, not naked because we went through, but yeah, high volume node. And so I wasn't testing in this place. Now I was able to count easily leading diagonal here. When you got overlapping price action, that's usually what it is. Then we had really crappy price action yesterday. So I said, okay, I'm gonna let it run. I think we took a short, yeah, yesterday morning. During the live stream, first we took a shot here, took profit. I said maybe the leading diagonal is not finished because it was a bit too quick. So okay, the next swing for pattern is still a good trade. I took the short, took profit. Didn't took the long just yet, but took it on the retest here after we saw a bit more strength on the order flow. And then I just let it run until I was able to count something. When we were here, I was thinking about the ending diagonal because there was this overlapping price action. But before it really finished, yeah, you cannot really tell. It was just a feeling for me. It could have been something more bullish. It could have been in a 1-2 and a 1-2 and a 1-2 and start to really blast through this resistance. Now I wake up this morning. we just, yeah, we were here. So we finished this. You see here, we have the particularity of a truncated 5. Something that I don't like to use usually, but I say, okay, we really reach my level of interest precisely, reject it twice, and we have a big spike of volume here. And after all, the main invalidation for diagonal, or main validation, where you don't have anything. For contracting 1 is that wave 3 is smaller than 1 and wave 5 need to be smaller than wave 3. So this is still correct. But in theory, wave 5 need to end after wave 3. But I considered this as soon as I saw it in the morning, just because there is a big spike of liquidation here. And we almost reach it. And you can draw a trend line pretty clearly by just ignoring that wick. And it looked like it was, indeed. And then simply to make a bit more confluence, well, you see a structure, you got your buying climax with a spike of volume, automatic correction, secondary test, so it retests the buying climax area and reject again, make a lower low, suggesting a show of weakness because it then breaks change the market structure. Then you still got another break of the market structure in the other side, but with just trap traders. It's a wick, it's a swing fire pattern, so an uptrust. Then you get an attempt at doing a trend, and then you got your true show of weakness because you confirm your market structure change. You have one here locally on the 5 minute, but then you have another one that is visible on higher time frame. And then simply again you try to find a trend line that makes sense, and we just retested this, which was also confluence with the POC. And yeah, we just retested POC. So I said, okay, I'm going to take a short here. And yeah, it went on. Simply. So yeah, Wyckoff is pretty good for this, I found. The LPSY is often an easy place to short. And in fact, this, you see the LPSY here, last point of supply, yeah. On this local range, which is also all this range, it is the LPS, potentially the LPSY on the higher time frame, because we lost this trend and we find resistance here. And after, when we lose this, we had a 80% setup on daily chart, but also here, the 80% setup. Most of you know it's based on volume profile and the daily time frame, but here you have a range, and you add this, that you get acceptance back into the value area of this range. You got the same principle that was 80% setup here again, that you will tend to go to value area low, and that's what we got. Swing for a pattern, the low, of course, it's always a good trade. Do we have something that to look good? Could we have again potentially leading? We'll check if, oh yeah, this is longer, and this is shorter. So it cannot be a leading diagonal. It cannot be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because here Y3 will be the smallest. Now I'm really too much low time frame, so I would just let this play Yeah. Potentially we could see this go a bit lower. So potentially still a buy if we do swing for a pattern that low. You see that we have really increasing volume and now it's start to decrease, so I still bet a bit on a potential reversal here. Not too much, but I would. And then target, will it be like a fib? What do we have? Well, knowing that we are entering into the weekend, low liquidity, honestly, if it indeed we are finishing 5 or about 2, I could see us reach a value area high, golden pocket. You know, in theory, in a bearish structure, I will more look at 382 here, POC. So potentially still a good shot if it's really bearish. But knowing that we are entering into the weekend, I say, okay, maybe we get a bit more volatility. It will be more easy for some big players to play this. So maybe something like this. So probably still a good shot here if we do, whenever we do, if we do print a fifth or if it's already in and we are doing this. Right, so either this, either this one. I think there is a good shot to be taken about 29,700 and the next value are high golden pocket. Knowing that, then what is the target on the downside here locally? Or well, long take profit here. Take profit on the long at 29,700 and yes, 3,200. And yeah, short as well. Ideally, I want to see a corrective structure whenever it happens. If I can find an ABC move with a confluence of 1-1 extension, can add another level that is not here yet. What do we have? We have the naked POC. I feel a bit too high for me. I wouldn't like to reach this, to test this supply. Lack of volume here. Yeah, right. Still rejecting from a current value low, so not very strong, and there is no volume. So potentially a long one. Another swing trade pattern, but I will not attempt too much of it. That's for sure. Now, what is the target for the short that is already in, or could be if we have a nice nicer bounce during the weekend. Simply fib from the propose 1 to the propose 2. What confluence do we have here? Well, surely you see we have a value are lower with the 0.618. So if my 5-minute count is incorrect and we dip further down, maybe the one will finish here instead. If we don't bounce more here locally and we bounce from lower, then I will really be looking at the POC of this range, which will be confluence with the 50. So in case we deploy, I would not, I mean, good long. I will not overtrade this. I will let it play more. And I could see a bounce. If we do this bounce like this, this would still be a short. Now, could we? I'm not seeing this happening. Not impossible, but I'm not feeling it, neither seeing it because of the volume. Next really good target will be the 1-1 extension, which would be a break of the spring here. So in the idea that we could be in a WXY here. This 1-1 extension become a really good target for short mostly. Not necessarily try to catch a long here. Again, I will let it play. Because if we are in such structure, it's likely that this would just be the first wave, the internal structure, and we still do something like this. We'll have the range to play. 28,580 is untapped daily. Yeah, I didn't pull all my level here. We also have this. This has been tested maybe already. No, this. Check forward. I think we. Here we go. Yeah, and test daily, and it's still the forward the block that was playing nice support for a long time. So in theory, this is still support. There, it makes sense to look for long here because we are projecting from the top. We are again the same thing on the lower time frame. We find back acceptance back into the value area of all this range after finding support on the POC. So next support here, value area low 0.618 daily. The blocks, proven support. So why not? Will be more comfortable in a much more result here. I'm taking that low. Because I know below here, I know that here people will still be bullish. Because we have a bullish market structure, because we have 5 waves and still potentially a retrace. So I know people will still be bullish here. And I know if we break this, of course I will not do this blindly. But if I count 5 waves somehow finishing here, I can see a bit of trap seller, trap shorts, or liquidated longs on the order flow, on Nectar chart, etc. Here I will grab a long, or I would wait for the show of strength, and I would buy a retest for potentially a move back into the range too. Move back into the range, or just a retest of these broken supports. Knowing that, yeah, will not do blindly, because if we're in the bearish case, this is a 1, 2, and the wave 3 have a minimum target expected at 25,600 here on Bybit USD. That would just be the wave 3, 4, 5 potentially. And it is just a minimum. But we have a nice range. So, you know, I mean, between currently, because I'm looking at a long-term bottom formation. At the same time, I'm looking for lower lows. So I want to be inclined to you know, I'm always trying to be positioned both sides in a range, on the short at the top, on the long at the bottom, and depending of my current bias, taking more or less profit and keeping more or less position to run on the side or the other. So long term, I'm inclined to keep more long position overall. I want to flip on this side. But mid-term here, I'm more inclined to keeping more shorts. And the same thing. Here, why I want to be well positioned on the short side here. Firstly, because it is an edge for me. And that way, if things play as I planned it to play, and we are building 5 waves like this, and if I have a good short position from here, well, I can allow myself to take a bit more risk on the long, because I know I have an edge on the other side, and if things were to really go against me, we were to see a big capitulation, or I don't know, well, I'm protected. But yeah, all my shorts here, I'm just in the idea of taking that low and be able to build a big fat long position below here, knowing again that the next low could be the low or just still an internal one, because you know there is still several positions. That's why I want to get a big fat one, because I will need to take profit on the rise and still keep open a nice position in case it continues. So now trend is down. 4 hour. 1 hour is reaching oversold already. I was building bull divergence, in fact. I'm oversold. So there is this. maybe let me check something. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, preferred area for me really is here. $27,650 to take profit on the short, and I mean significant profit on the short, and potentially look for long if there is signs. And I think that will be all for today. Yeah, we can just repeat big resistance here. Big resistance here. And potential for a long here in case. In case there is another swing for a pattern. And if we were to go above here, I would be prudent on the shorts, but we still have the potential for something like this and retest a weekly and POC, but this will take days to play. It could play over the weekend. Could be the trap. Okay, let's say this is another one. $786. Yeah. But I would, yeah, if we do something like this, it would really depend on how the price action occurs. Yeah, because yeah, if we start to do something like this, maybe we just do a 3, 4, 5, and I will need to see, depending, not too much impulsive money, impulsive volume, like growing volume, big interest, and don't want to see this either. I want to see decreasing volume, zigzag kind of structure, topping RSI on 4 hour, bearish divergence, trap traders. Not really the one I'm favoring. For me, this remains pretty important. And in fact, that's probably above that high that I will keep my stop loss on short, even the one that was caught on the very high during the live stream. If I haven't gotten a short, would have caught along here. Probably. Yeah, it's technical valid long, so yeah. But again, I size depending of the buyers at the moment, so I'm more sized on the short. I took more size on the short here that I'm taking on the long here, because I'm feeling this is a kind of price action that could just be like this. We are in a clear downtrend, we didn't change anything. So here we go. I hope all of this was interesting and helpful. I did. Oh, I forget to check this. Is there any on-chain data interesting? Yeah, not so much. Okay. Yeah, no, that's from yesterday. There was not even good. The big ones that I've been buying, but they were selling this morning. Anyway, so yeah, that's all for me today. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment on the video if it's encouraging. Also, there is I forget about that, but there is a deal currently on Bybit. If you subscribe with a referral link, you can get 0% fee, 100% discount on limit orders. And so I do have a referral link, and it's also a way to support me if you like. So it's in the description. Yeah, that's all. So thanks again. Thanks for watching. Thanks for participating. Thanks for liking. And trade safe, everybody. See you soon.